One thing I started doing very early in my YouTube channel was making a story bank. And that's basically essentially what it sounds like. It's a place where I file my stories. I deposit my stories. And this is different than a list of video ideas. Video ideas. Hey, how do you do X? Why would I want to do Y? This was amazing when I tried it. Those types of things. Those are video ideas. The story bank, I'm thinking, is the side story or the story that makes the point that I want to talk about. So if I am talking about doing a thing and have this other story that relates to it, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to keep in the story bank. I don't know about you, but when I'm making videos, I'm right in the thick of it. I need to come up with an idea or a story or something. I'm drawing blanks. That's just the way it goes. I think a lot of people have that. So if I have a story bank, I can flip it open, burn through it and say, hey, there's my story. That relates to that. And then it lets me interject something into my video. Now, to be honest, I probably haven't used the story bank as much as I should. Like I said, just forgetting to go look, forgetting the story. I also forget to go look for the story sometimes. I get so tied up and wrapped up in just doing the thing. Wow, that sun's bright. Hopefully I didn't ruin the shot there. But I get so tied up in doing the thing. It's like I get the blinders on and I forget to go look for those stories. Anyway, let's completely lost my train of thought. Walking through the sun, lost my train of walking through the sun, lost my train of thought. Let's walk through the sun again. That's right. There's not too much glare off my forehead. That tends to happen. The story bank and ideas and thoughts, just random. I'm not filling out whole stories. I'm just making a couple of notes. So you know what? Let's sit down for a minute, take a look and see what's in my story bank. Just as an example. Hopefully this works out. Don't have a tripod today. So I got my selfie stick just literally sitting on the ground here. My story bank is just sitting here on my phone. I'll put an overlay on the screen so you can have a quick look at what I'm talking about. But as an example, El Camino without a stereo. Behind the scenes stuff and how my grandfather hated it and I loved it. This would have been back in my 20s. How about driving my dad's car and the Fulmer fire truck out on the airport runway? That's a good one. Not many people have done that, I don't imagine. And change my patterns, the coffee shop story. So yeah, that's an interesting one, and there's a lot of different angles from changing patterns, changing habits, doing things. My coffee shop story, that's kind of interesting. And I rode my bike 65 kilometers to get ice cream, and I also accidentally rode my bike from Canmore to Banff. A couple interesting ones, maybe not the smartest ones, but interesting. Anyway, that's kind of an idea of how I use the story bank. Because I don't need to write the whole story. I remember, driving that El Camino without the stereo. I remember riding my bike and pulling into Banff. What the heck? So, anyway, I was talking in my last video, kind of being in a funk and losing my mojo. And it occurred to me that maybe I should just tell stories and talk about stories. And if I don't have a video per se that I can tie the story in, maybe I'll just tell the story. I think I've done that a couple of times, but not very often. So I'm going to ask you, if you saw on that list, there was a story in there that you saw that you think, I want to hear that one. Drop a comment below. Maybe, not 100% sure, maybe I'll just sit and tell the story. And you know what, as I'm thinking about it here, just being here in Idlewild Park, there's some stories here too. how I used to come here as a kid. On the other side, there was playground, little zip line, barbecue pits, fishing in here for kids, scout hall just behind me when I was a little older. There's some stories just being here. If you're new here, my name is Mike, and I live near the Rocky Mountains in BC, and I talk about stuff and being outdoors. And again, before I sign off, if you see a story on that list that you thought, hey, I want to hear that one, drop a comment down below. Maybe I'll tell the story. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Maybe I will. And that's it for today. See you on the next one.